Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Crime Talk with Stef. I'm Stef. You
Oh,
see that gorgeous lady right there? Lady,
hey.
woman,
Hello,
gal.
ladies and gentlemen.
Where's my cane and my shawl? That's my bestie Neen, by the
Okay.
way, of
Hi.
Fridays with Neen, and
Oh, it is
she's our
Crime
lady.
Talk. Crime Talk Friday. That's right. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, Steph. I can't wait to see what you have in store. I haven't even asked you yet.
Mm-mm.
So the suspense is killing me.
I
But
love it.
before then, how are you?
I'm great. We were catching up as always prior to this, and I was
Mm-hmm.
telling Neen that today it was not supposed to rain in San Francisco,
Mm-mm.
surprisingly enough. So I believed it, and I left the house without my umbrella. And I like to go on long walks during my lunch break, and I was about a mile and a half away from the office when guess what? Mother Nature decided to shed some major tears. I got caught in this storm and I was furious because like I was late. That wasn't actually, I was pretty like on time today, but I went and like did my hair, did my makeup. Like, had I known that that was going to happen, I would have just shown up disheveled. Like, I was pissed. And then an hour later, I'm like at work, like I'm dry, my hair is up, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting some stuff away, and a freaking binder falls on my face and slices my face. I was like, hi, we're not
No.
recording crime talk yet. What the hell? So, but other than that,
Ugh,
other than those two little instances, it was a
crap.
pretty good, busy, but pretty good Wednesday. How about you?
Mine was very busy as well. I did hair today
Nice.
and damn, it was
It was a
sorry,
day. Oh,
choking because I don't know what's going on with my throat. I feel fine. I was supposed to have coffee with your mom,
oh,
and I texted her and I said, honestly, I don't know what's going on with my throat. I know it's like something, but it's nothing's coming. But there's something, like I told you, in my bronchial tubes, they're
yes.
working out. Sorry. And so I told her, I go, I can't risk getting you sick, so we're going to take a rain check because something's going on. But other than that, today was great. Very busy, but it was nice. Like I have when I have days where I do hair like all day or things like this. I don't know. The girls that I did, they were amazing. It was like nice to be in the presence of like positive people and just such sweet, kind,
Yeah,
nice women, you
that's
know?
great.
So it was a good day. But I will say on the top of the rain situation,
Ugh.
um, I was caught in a rainstorm yesterday too on the
I mean,
freeway,
oh,
and it
okay.
was coming down like goats, camels, giraffes, dogs, cats, everything all at once. And it was weird because the skies were like blue. And I'm like, where is
Yeah,
this rain coming from?
that happened to me last week. Like, I was like, what? It looks like a sunny day, but downpour. Like,
Hmm.
get it together, Mother Nature.
Yeah, amen. I agree because even I don't know how the storm was this past weekend where you live, but it wasn't anything like they said it was going to be. They told
Mm-mm.
us there was going to be tornadoes and shit. I'm still waiting. Not that I want it to happen, but
No,
I'm
don't be
like,
putting that out
it was
there.
right. Knock on wood. But it was nothing compared. Like yesterday's little rain spout that I went
Oh
through,
yeah.
it was way more than what I saw this weekend.
Okay. Yeah, this weekend was pretty intense.
Really? Was it? I think it over near the coast it was worse.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. You know what? All the rainy days are just kind of like combining into one another at this point. I just hope that it doesn't rain like it says it's not supposed to this weekend because we want a nice smooth drive to Tahoe. So,
Yeah, for
Mother
sure.
Nature, take a chill pill. Oh my God.
Tell me about it. But speaking of Mother Nature, um,
Yes.
Botox. We were just talking about Botox
Yes, we
and the
were.
natural, I don't know why that has to do with Mother Nature. It probably doesn't anyway. But Steph, we've talked about this
Hmm.
and I really want to do it.
Me too.
And I have a friend who is a nurse and she's practicing doing Botox. So I told her, I said, when you
Mm.
do it, I'm going to come to you first, right? But she was telling me that that vampire facial, There's
Yeah.
an actual name for it, but that's like the one that we know, right? Is actually probably the best thing that you could do for your skin versus like Botox,
Wait.
because they use your own blood.
Ew. So how do they get this blood?
So they have to take it out of you and then they do something to the blood, I think. I'm not really sure. But then so have you ever seen, this is what I imagine it to be, where have you seen those people that irrigate lawns and they like put the holes in there? And then
Yeah.
so when they water the lawn,
Yes.
there's holes. So
Yeah.
the nutrients and all that stuff goes into the soil. So
Yeah.
that's how I picture it with the face and this facial is that what happens is I believe they puncture little tiny holes in your face, right? And then they get your cells from your blood
Oh, I don't
and
know.
they rub it in your skin.
Wait, I feel uncomfortable. Like, I'm sorry. How is that safe?
I don't know, it is somehow, but it's people say it's actually some of the best stuff that you could do for your skin. On top of like in Korea, they do stem cell stuff.
Oh my God.
And
Okay, see
that's
that.
why Korean women look as young as they do and don't have any like there's nothing and no pores.
That's true. What
Hmm.
about red light therapy? Something less invasive, those masks? What have
Yes.
you heard? Because I'm getting ready to invest in a good one. I'm seeing a lot of,
Oh my God, me too. I
yeah, I've
was
been.
at Ulta the other day and I saw one and I was like, damn, I should have got these during the pandemic because they were a lot cheaper.
No, because there's so many like comparison videos out there of the different brands and the pros and the cons and the red light versus the blue light and masks that have both and like my little 20-year-olds that are going to look freaking amazing when they're 40 because of all the skincare they do.
Hmm.
I learned so much from them. And this one, she like every morning she gets up like 2 hours before she has to. And she does like she has her morning to herself, and then she'll get into her sauna bag. She's the one where I found the sauna bag from,
Hmm.
whilst wearing her red light therapy mask.
Ooh,
And
I
she's
like that.
reading or like, listening to a podcast, and it's like the
Hmm.
best little morning like thing. So
Huh.
she actually got me like researching different ones, but
Hmm.
like what have you like do you know if like what have you
Um,
heard about?
I know that it does have a lot of beneficial, you know, tendencies when it comes to a lot of things. Like when you
Mhm.
think about how red light therapy helps with like cancer and like the natural way red light therapy helps with a lot. But I mean, I don't know, when it comes to like reversing aging or like keeping your skin, making it better, I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of like on the fence about it. That's why I wanted to purchase one back in 2020 when everybody seemed to be having a mask, right? Um, and I was just like, I don't know if I believe in this. I just don't know. But there are some, you know, studies that have been done that have shown that it actually does help. But I always think it's in combination with other things. Like, when you think about it, you think about our grandmas and stuff and what they used to use. They were just over there
Water.
using, yeah, exactly, or ponds,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know? And I've heard a lot of good things like about olive oil or grapeseed oil. And I
Oh yeah,
mean,
you've been talking about just doing a teaspoon of olive oil in the mornings. I remember
mhm,
you saying, have you started?
I have, but I only
Oh,
did it one day.
how was it?
Oh my God, the taste was so disgusting.
Oh,
And you know what? I need to get better olive oil. I think I got mine at Home Goods. So I need to invest in some good stuff at like Whole Foods or something.
there you
Um,
go.
but rubbing olive oil or grapeseed oil on your face is
Mhm.
supposed to work wonders. I knew a girl and she had phenomenal skin and she said that was her family was from Italy
Oh
and that's
wow.
all her grandparents used and that's all she's ever used was as moisturizer was olive oil.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I've heard things
noted.
like that. I want to say there's someone, I don't know if it's Kelly Ripa or like some famous person swears by using olive oil. I just,
Okay.
I don't know. It's one of those things like, like we were saying, I look at Botox and I just feel like, and I've heard this a lot too, and I don't know if you've heard that about Botox is one, and that's one of the reasons why I'm hesitant to use it or try it is because once you use it,
You have to keep
you
doing that.
become dependent on it because everything starts to sag
Well,
after
yeah,
that.
that's kind of why I'm like, that is a major reason that I haven't. Two is like, what are you putting in your body, in your face? And like
Hmm.
there's a chance of paralysis. Like, there's so many things that can go wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Because and that's why I wanted my friend to do it because she's a nurse. So I'm trusting the fact that she knows where all
okay.
these nerves and everything else is. Because look at Kim Kardashian, like you said.
Yeah. I want to be able to smile,
Hmm.
and yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just a little on the fence. This is all, of course, like I'm not going to run out and do it if I do it tomorrow. It's not the case. Like I'm
Hmm.
probably going to wait a few years, but I like to know that I want to know all my options. And who knows, maybe in a few years it's going to improve even more. So we'll
Hmm.
see. Yeah,
It's
I'm not going to
true.
rule it out quite yet. And there's
Hmm.
also like, once you do one thing, you want to keep doing, right? Like, so another thing that I would want to do while we're on the subject is like, how when women age, it's all right here in the neck.
Hmm.
So that, yes, I slather my creams and whatnots every day and night, but what's going to happen there if I have a Botoxed face, yet my neck is 65 or 70? So,
Yeah. And
I feel you on that.
yeah. And the neck is one place that's hard to even, like, you can't really prevent gravity from happening.
Yeah,
Like obviously if you gain weight and you lose it, that's one thing. But,
right.
it's just one of those things that you can't really prevent. They could do things for it, obviously, but it's not something that you could really tight. It's like that crepey skin that people have that they say you really can't do anything about that. It's just kind of like your genetics and stuff. I don't know. Either that or just like age gracefully and just like see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
it sucks to be old.
Oh,
And we're not even that old yet.
we're not. We should just slow down and enjoy it.
I agree. I agree. Does Kara believe in Botox or anything like that?
She does not want me putting anything foreign into my body, like, but she also knows that when I'm on a mission, like, there's not really much that, she could just offer her advice, and stuff, but she didn't say like, don't ever do it. So, but if it was something super duper dangerous, of course she'd be like, you're not doing that.
Yeah. It's kind of along the same lines of like people with Ozempic and stuff. Like,
That I talked to her about that just because I was curious what her
hmm.
thoughts were and all these people. And then she's like, the thing is, and even the disclaimers, because I did look into it when she told me about her thoughts. I
Hmm.
Googled, and she's right. Hello. Like,
Hmm.
once you get on that, you can't get off of it.
Hmm. Yeah,
It's not a quick
exactly.
fix. Like, sure, you'll drop the weight, but like, you have to, the second you decide you don't want to get the shots or take the pills anymore, you're gonna probably
Hmm.
get double back. So just
Yeah. And and the thing too is like it's like you said, it just buys into the whole market of, immediate gratification.
exactly.
I don't know.
So yeah, she doesn't have to worry about that with me.
You're like, but Botox on the other hand.
Yeah, Botox, let's chat about some more.
I wonder if anybody's ever died from Botox. I'm sure.
I'm sure. I mean, for a minute I was looking at this cool sculpting because
Mm-hmm.
the place where I did laser hair
Mm-hmm.
for my chin hair,
Mm-hmm.
they offer it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, ooh. But then you heard the horror stories from that supermodel, Linda Evangelista. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she had a horrible experience and she's disfigured almost.
Shit. Well, how do they do that?
It's like putting cold and zapping the fat or whatever. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's sounds
Again, that's a quick
chilly.
fix. Like, if anything,
Mm-hmm.
like, I would want to get a tummy tuck, but I don't want to be cut open. So
Yeah.
next, let me just love my
Damn.
fupa and work on my fupita. That's all you can do in
Tell
life.
me about it. Unless my sister was, I don't know, cheekies. Because seems like her, Jackie, Jenica, they all had things done.
Damn.
And they look completely different. Especially cheekies. I was like, her whole face, everything changed.
See, that scares me.
Yeah. I'm like, I mean, obviously she still looks like herself, but her shape, because you know how she was like thicker, Like she was built to be thick.
Yeah,
But then all of a sudden she showed up and she had like a thin silhouette. And it's
that's
like, that's so weird.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
She's so
Because, you know,
pretty.
exactly. It was like, even Tony, because we used to watch, was it Jenny from, not, what is
Yeah.
it? Jenny from the Block or Jenny, whatever it was called. Um, and damn, he was like, who's that?
Oh
I was
my
like, I
God.
was like,
Yeah.
that's Cheeky's. And he goes, what?
And she's got too much See, the thing is, like, you can tell she has Botox too, but that's
Yeah.
that pulled thing that I don't necessarily want. I mean,
Yeah.
again, people do what you want with your bodies and stuff. You're all beautiful and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I'm not trying to like be like, ew, what are you doing? But
Right.
she was gorgeous before too.
Oh, she was totally good. I mean, I
I
don't want to be
know.
talking to you and be like, oh,
Yeah, that
Stef.
scares
You
me.
know, that's
Yeah.
scary. That's like an episode of Crime Talk right there.
Ugh.
Because that face for sure would have been like, she's the killer.
Oh,
Okay.
snap.
Uh-huh. But
Uh-uh.
anyways, what do you have in store for us today,
Ooh, I
Steph?
mean, it was a tough one to research,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like I wanted to share it with everybody because it's
Mm-hmm.
back in the media. So, this case that I wanted to cover is probably one of the most disturbing I've come across thus
Ooh.
far.
Mm-hmm.
So not only do I want to issue some trigger warnings, and I will in a sec, but I do want to issue a warning to not go looking for pictures online because you will not be able to erase what your eyes will see. And just so you know, also, the pictures do pop up when you Google the case and Google the victim's name. The
Mm-hmm.
majority are blurred, but there's some that aren't, and you don't really see anything, but you do. Like, so just so like my brain likes to take snapshots of things. So I'm kind of like, oh my God, like I need to wash my brain. And I don't want you guys to go through that. So just be careful, okay?
Okay.
That being said, the trigger warnings I'm gonna put in place are for discussions of severe and cruel abuse and neglect at the hands of parents, discussions of crime scene photos, discussions of death due to chronic malnutrition, starvation, immobility, acute ulcer formation, and sepsis. Now, really quickly, this
Oh,
is not
shit.
about a child. Just want to let you guys know it's not about a
Okay.
child because I can't do that. So, but this
Mm-hmm.
is nevertheless, this is still horrible. Okay. So, listener
Okay.
discretion is strongly advised for this one.
Mm.
And before we get into it, I do want to say that there isn't a whole lot of details about our victims' like early life. So, and not a lot on the evil pieces of shit that are her parents. And I'm using air quotes for those of you that aren't looking on YouTube. Okay. So, parents, the term is used
Mm-hmm.
here. So, I'm going to call this like a mini-sode. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lacy Ellen Fletcher, that's our victim. She was born on November 25th, 1985, to parents Clay and Sheila Fletcher, who were described as highly respected church-going pillars of the community.
Oh,
She grew up in a town called Slaughter, which what?
how fitting.
Uh-huh.
Maybe.
And yeah, and this is in Louisiana. So I've never heard of this place, but and it's a small town. So I think the population it was like in the thousands. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
small.
That's super small.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I couldn't find much about her early life, but I did learn that she appeared to be a healthy young girl who was on her high school volleyball team. And the pictures where she is alive and well, like she's smiling, she looks like your typical like young teen. But now Lacey was severely autistic. And so in either 1998 or 1999, after her freshman year of high school at Brown Baptist Academy, her parents decided that she could no longer attend regular school and yanked her out to allegedly be homeschooled. Now, a fellow classmate of Lacey was interviewed, and he confirmed that she was, quote, not your typical teenager, and that she didn't share the same interests as people her own age. So, like, meaning she was into like kid things like toys, and she really loved watching Disney movies. I read somewhere that she liked country music a lot, but this like stood out to this particular person that was interviewed.
And just to
Um,
make sure, you said she was autistic, right?
yes.
Okay.
So once Lacey was taken out of school, she pretty much began to retreat into a deep isolation as her autism allegedly got worse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I say allegedly a lot because the only two people Lacey spent any time with were her parents, and who knows if any truth ever came out of their mouths. But what is true is Lacey was isolated, and are going to later confirm that she was severely autistic. Okay. And she never left her house after she left that high school. So that's like a pivotal moment.
Mm-hmm.
She would occasionally go outside, but that's it. In 2006, when Lacey was only 21 years old, this would be the last time she was seen by anyone. So her neighbor, Robert Blades, was interviewed in 2022 and 2022. Why did that sound weird? Okay, 2022. And confirmed that he last saw her exercising outside of her home. He stated that she often worked out outside and nothing appeared to be wrong with her. He mentioned that she was really skinny, but he didn't find that odd because she was always skinny, like since he
Mm-hmm.
knew her. And he knew her since she was like 8 or 9 when they moved to the neighborhood, him and his family. And then that was it. No one saw or heard from Lacey again since that last sighting in 2006.
Hmm.
A few years, did you hear that?
Yeah.
God, puppy. Oh my God, I don't need noises right now. I'm gonna be scared. Sorry, guys. So, a few years later, sometime in 2011 or 2012, Robert, the neighbor, realized that it had been some time since he had seen Lacey and asked her father, Clay, about her. According to Robert, he asked if Lacey had moved or had gone away to college, maybe got married, but her father told him, no, she's still living at home, and then changed the subject. Okay.
Hmm.
He
Fishy.
offered no explanation as to why no one had seen her. So, while I give Robert some credit for noticing Lacey had not been seen, I do have quite a bit of side eye because the dad's response was barely a response. Also, it had been a few years before he finally inquired about her. Like, the
Yeah, for
fuck?
real.
No,
Exactly.
I mean, I'm no neighbor of the year. Okay. I'm not going to go
Neither
bake a
am I.
pie and bring it to a neighbor, but I do know my neighbors. And if
Hmm.
I would know if someone moved, and I would,
Of
if I hadn't
course.
seen someone, I would start to ask questions, especially
Hmm.
if it's been a while.
Yeah.
So I think side eye is merited here.
Hmm.
Um, but he kind of just took his answer and just moved on. Okay. Again, I would have called 911. I would have been like, what the this is weird. He changed the subject. I mean,
Hmm.
call 911, have somebody come out, perform a welfare check. These things
Yeah.
are done anonymously, but
Hmm.
he didn't do that. Okay, so Robert took
Yeah.
his word and just moved on. I don't think he ever imagined the true horror of what was going on over at the Fletcher household. Okay. And I don't think anyone is prepared for what I'm going to tell you. I mean, unless you've Googled and seen.
No.
So, on January 3rd, 2022, 16 years after Lacey was last seen by anyone other than her parents, 911 received a call around 2 a.m. from Sheila Fletcher, who stated that her daughter had stopped breathing. The police arrived fairly quickly and were greeted at the door by Sheila and Clay, who told them, oh, we just returned home from a weekend trip. Our daughter stayed home. And when we got here, she was on the couch unresponsive. Whoops. Okay. So the police trot inside and they're immediately like slapped in the face with an overpowering smell of urine and feces. And this was shocking because the rest of the house looked spick and span. It was clean as a whistle. So, like, you walk into this pristine home and then bam, like you're hit with this smell. Okay.
Hmm.
Once the police got close to the couch in the living room where the smell was coming from, they found Lacey unresponsive, like her parents had said. But the sight of her was something out of a scary movie.
No.
Lacey's body was partially dressed and sitting upright, but had sunken into a hole in the couch, and it looked like she had been sitting there for years. Her body was covered with sores and insect bites, and her skin had rotted away down to her bones. Her face was covered in big red blotches, and feces had been smeared all over her face, her body, inside her ears, her hair. It was everywhere. The reports also stated that maggots had started eating her remains. And sadly, it was further reported that her body, or what was left of it, had become one with the couch. It had been completely fused together. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, Neem is speechless. I barely could get that out. Yes.
What the fuck? Sorry.
So if you were to Google her name, you would see what I just described. So please just don't do it. It's awful that this is their daughter. And that's how she was found. Now, yeah. So because Lacey was clearly deceased, the police called the coroner to come to the house to collect her body. According to the coroner, Lacey weighed about 96 pounds at the time of her death and gave a long list as to her cause of death, which, as I mentioned earlier, but I'm going to say it again, it included chronic malnutrition, acute starvation, ulcer formation, and a bone infection that ultimately led to sepsis. She had also tested positive for COVID. The coroner who performed the autopsy declared that this was the most evil case he had ever seen. And after he completed the autopsy, he could not eat for a week and he just cried his eyes out. And I can't say that I blame him. Like, God bless that man for even being able to do that. I don't,
Yeah, I I don't even know. That I'm like, wow.
yeah,
Oh
it's god awful.
my
You can't even
God.
dream this shit up. I swear to God.
No, but
Um,
I'm just wondering, how did she just died sitting there?
mhm.
I wonder if they had her strapped down or something. Oh, oh my
No.
God.
So,
Mm-mm. Okay.
yeah. So it was clear that as day, okay, to anyone that walked in and saw the state that she was found in, it was clear that this did not occur during Sheila and Clay's little weekend getaway, like they were perpetrating. Okay. Who the hell did they think they were, first of all? And who did they think they were fooling? It was determined later that Lacey had been left to rot away on that very couch for about 12 years. I'm gonna say that again. A decade and 2 years.
Hold up. Are you serious?
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
nobody visited their home in
Mhm.
12 years?
Mhm. Yeah. So while we're
Because death
pissed,
has a very distinct scent.
yeah. Well, hold on. We're gonna get to that in a minute because death has
I
a
can't.
distinct scent. She didn't die 12 years ago. She died when the mom made the phone call in 2022. So let's chat about the parents real quick, even though we don't want to.
Yeah.
So we know they tried to tell law enforcement that Lacey's demise happened over the course of one weekend, but clearly that's bull. But they both tried to act as though they did nothing wrong. They were also, so while they're like saying we didn't do anything wrong, they were also not acting like loving parents that have just lost their only child. Clay was completely emotionless, while Sheila barely showed any signs of grief. I think she forced a tear out. They they both claimed to police that Lacey's anxiety had gotten so bad that she just flat out refused to leave home and only felt secure if she was close to the couch. So she never was too far from it, not even to go to the bathroom. In fact, the parents claimed that because she didn't want to leave the couch area, she would just go to the bathroom on towels that were kept next to the couch for her.
Wow.
And the parents they brought up her anxiety, which was later confirmed to be true. Lacey did suffer from severe social anxiety as well as severe autism. And there were also a few reports circulating that Lacey suffered from locked in syndrome, which is a neurological disorder where the person is awake, alert, aware of what's going on, but is completely paralyzed, meaning they can't move, they can't speak, they can't show any kind of facial expression. They're a prisoner in their own body. Okay.
Well, that's a
Um,
new one.
yeah.
Shit.
So Sheila and Clay, they told police that, they took care of her. We took care of our daughter. We cleaned her, we brought her food. They also stated that Lacey was very with it, or of sound mind, I should say. So they saw no need to bring her to a doctor. But they
Wow.
did mention that back in 2010, they went to see a doctor on Lacey's behalf to ask for advice because it was around this time that she was starting to not want to leave the couch.
Mm.
The doctor urged them to bring her to the hospital, but they never followed up and she never got treatment. Sheila
Hmm.
and Clay further had the balls, this pissed me off, to tell police that Lacey never complained about her situation or complained that she was in pain and that she was free to go whenever she wanted, that she was not their prisoner.
It's your
My
freaking
mouth,
autistic child.
yeah, my mouth hit the floor when I saw that. I was like, what? So thankfully, no one believed this crock, okay? And the DA stated that Lacey most certainly would not have I'm sorry, she would have been in a tremendous amount of pain and unable to get help for herself. And
Hmm.
he also stated that he believes both Sheila and Clay are responsible for her death. Now, for a murder charge, you have to prove intent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's clear as day that their intent was to neglect her, act like she wasn't even in the room, act like she wasn't even in the house,
Yeah.
and just leave her there to rot so that the neglect would ultimately result in her death,
Mm-hmm.
thus no longer burdening them with having to care for her. Duh.
Because
Anyone could see that.
exactly, because they knew what their future was going to be looking like. It would always be
Exactly.
the three of them.
Exactly. So, like, that's what they did.
Lord.
Now,
Mm-mm.
the sheriff would go on to release a statement following this Lacey's discovery and stated that this was by far the worst case he has ever seen. Like that speaks volumes.
Yeah, exactly.
And you would think that the parents would have been immediately hauled off to death row and, plopped
Absolutely.
down on a chair and handed a warm needle.
Oh, yeah. Or left
But
there for
yeah,
God
or
knows
just
how long.
leave them there to rot. But it
Uh-huh.
wasn't until April 2nd, 2022, 3 months later, that Sheila and Clay were arrested. So news of what happened to Lacey got out around this time and shocked the entire community,
Hmm.
especially because both Sheila and Clay were well respected and well liked. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, the couple was quoted as being, church going pillars of their community. But
Mm-hmm.
besides that, Sheila had previously worked in local politics and
Mm-hmm.
had even worked in law enforcement, thus
Oh.
having easy access to get her daughter help.
Oh, ain't that lovely?
And
Hmm.
Clay, good old Clay, worked for a freaking nonprofit charity. I literally can't. So, on the
Hmm.
outside, these two, like on paper, they appeared to be saints. But
See?
one thing I want to mention, many of their colleagues had no idea that these two even had a kid. They they were,
What?
so that should tell you something, okay? Just the neighbors pretty much knew of Lacey's existence.
This story just gets
And
worse and
no,
worse.
and also Lacey's former teacher. What about the school?
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Uh, See? Okay, I have a lot of comments after
No,
this.
I know,
I'm
I know, I know. I know,
pissed.
I know.
Okay.
So I know I'm hot. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
anyways, towards the end of April and into May of 2022, Clay and Sheila appeared before the grand jury, and thanks to a huge pile of evidence, they were both charged with Lacey's murder. I really, really feel for this poor jury because they had to be subjected to the graphic photos
Oh,
of poor
can't even
Lacey on
imagine.
that couch, and because of that, there were medics on standby during this grand jury hearing in case
Wow.
anyone needed it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Shoot.
um, on May 2nd, 2022, Sheila and Clay were found guilty of second-degree murder. They were not carted off to jail at that moment because this wasn't their official murder trial, and each had a bond set at 300K, and they were both able to pay it. So 300 thou times two. 36 hours after their guilty verdict, they were just back on the streets chilling. So When they were released, there was, of course, a huge media frenzy with reporters wanting to know what the fuck were they thinking. These evil pieces of dog diarrhea refused to
Mm-hmm.
answer any questions and had their attorney give a statement, which said, and I quote, that they did not want to relive the pain of losing their child and that they have been through enough heartache over the years. Oh, and also this part kills me. They loved Lacey to death. End
My
quote.
ass. I'm sorry.
And just when you can't get any more pissed, Neen,
Are you
or
serious?
hate the system more, in 2023, their secondary degree murder charges were actually dropped by the judge due to conflicting language in their charging documents. So like they had a really good attorney and they were like, there's discrepancies here in these charging documents. So the whole case has to be thrown out or else it's prejudicial, blah, blah, blah. And the judge agreed.
Hmm.
Thankfully, the loving couple was arrested again on June 19th, 2023, and they were indicted by the grand jury once again on murder charges. Now, on Monday, February 4th, 2024, just a couple weeks ago, Sheila and Clay were back in court where they had a huge gathering of people showing their support for them. These,
After all
yeah,
this? Okay, bozos. Uh-huh.
these people believed the bullshit that the Fletchers were spewing the whole time, that they loved their daughter more than anything, and they did what they could for her. Insert eye roll here. Now, both Sheila and Clay pleaded no contest to reduce charges of manslaughter, which translates to they are not admitting guilt, but are admitting to the facts alleged in the indictment. So the district attorney wanted them to be jailed immediately after entering their pleas, but the judge allowed them to stay out on their bond until yesterday, actually. So February 20th, 2024, which is when they had to surrender. The prosecuting side is seeking the maximum sentence of 40 years behind bars, which is not long enough in anyone's opinion. But we will have to wait and see what happens at their sentencing hearing in March. So
Mm-hmm.
actually, it's set for March 20th, 2024. So I'm gonna keep all of you guys updated as soon as I get more news about this. So stay tuned for that update, and hopefully we'll be chatting about the fact that they, rather than 40 years, they were just sentenced to death. So
Yeah, I
yes,
can
so
only hope. Hmm.
that is the horrific and sad story of Lacy Fletcher.
Oh my gosh. This is too much stuff. This was like,
Yeah, I
uh,
know. I know.
I don't even know what to say, but
I know.
okay. The thing with me is
Yeah.
that, for one, if you can handle a child, period, then you shouldn't have kids. Okay? They only had one child.
Mm-hmm.
One, just one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad because I did look at her picture
Mm.
and and I don't know, like maybe was she had autism, obviously, like you said, but was it severe? Because she, like you said, it seemed like when you look at her photos, it doesn't really, you can't tell too
Mm-hmm.
much, right? Um, but I just can't imagine. See, to me, it's like when you have a child that has autism, the minute they are born, you should already have the understanding that this child is going to be attached to you
Mm-hmm.
and with you for the rest of your life. The fact that it's crazy to me that no one questioned anything, that people at their work didn't even know they had children
I know.
or a child. How come the state didn't look into, like, see, I feel like this is where the state really does a disservice to children or people, adults, when they have autism or special needs. Um, the states need to do better with keeping, I feel like once a child turns 18 and they have autism, I don't know a lot about it and I don't know how it works, but something needs to happen, even with the funding. Like at this point, girlfriend should have been maybe in a home.
Yeah.
Like if they would have done welfare checks, if like, because that's what needs to happen to people that have kids that have special needs. It should be routine that they need to make sure they're being taken care of correctly and are going to classes, you know, being involved in the public, because she probably would have been okay with her social anxiety if she was more exposed to the public.
Yeah, I think yanking her out of school is
Yeah.
was it's clear it was the culmination of like her downfall because her autism progressed, like it got
Hmm.
worse.
And of course it would. Like, there's so many things that go on with children that have autism.
Yeah.
There's things that they're just, they have emotions, they can't communicate. There's just a lot of stuff that we who aren't autistic that we can do things and that to release things we can't explain. We can
Yeah.
explain, oh, I'm not feeling good, or oh, I need help. They can't. Not in that manner for some of them. And I don't know. I just can't even imagine.
I know.
And all this was brought on just because they didn't want to be bothered.
Exactly. Like there's pictures of these two like in front of a Christmas tree. Where is that photo? Is that at their house? Is she just on the couch?
Yeah,
Like
and that's the thing. What brought them to this? Like I understand she had this social anxiety thing and there was things going on, but come
like th-
on.
they literally just they don't see anything wrong. They're sticking to their um we did everything that we could. She could have just gotten up and left. Yeah, 96 pounds.
Come on. And so they're like, "Oh, she just wanted to sit on the sofa for the rest of
Yeah.
her life. So we're just going to let her do that
Yeah.
and not feed her and not
Yeah.
worry."
Oh,
How did she get feces in her mouth?
exactly. Like
You
call
know?
somebody, call the
Yeah.
hospital. I
Like if
can't
my
do this
child,
anymore.
yeah, if my child didn't want to get up off the sofa, I would be like, okay, for one, we need to take you to a hospital. And
Hmm.
if you're not going to let me do it, I'm going to have the authorities come do it because we need to get you help. For one. For two, okay, until then, I'm going to make sure I give you a sponge bath, brush your teeth, brush your hair, feed you, even if I have to give you baby food or God knows what, making sure you get your vitamins,
Yeah.
right?
And they're alleging they did mean.
Liars.
Exactly.
Come
96
on.
pounds.
Oh, so no, these people need to go to hell. If there's a deeper place than hell, they need to be the freaking presidents of that place. Because,
Hmm.
that is
No,
sickening.
it is.
It's one thing to abuse a child, it's one thing to abuse anybody. But I have a soft spot for
Yeah,
when you take advantage or you hurt those that have autism or special needs that can't communicate.
exactly.
Like, to me, that is the most evil thing that anybody could do. Like, and then in this manner, it's
Especially because
disgusting.
she if she did suffer from locked in, like she saw everything that went on. I mean, regardless,
Yeah,
even if she didn't suffer from that disorder, she saw everything that was going on. And she was
exactly.
alone.
Yes, and the thing is these are two people that a lot of they should have been hugging her, taking care of her, loving on her.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, this story is gonna haunt me because
I'm
I'm so
sorry.
upset.
I know. I'm sorry. I
It's okay, it's
know.
not your fault, but
I've
it's
been
just
wanting
like,
to cover this one, and then when I saw that they were back in like trial, like I was like, oh, let's because it's gonna be like we all want to see justice for her.
yeah, we do. And you know what? And all those people that have these two jackasses and like are backing them up,
Oh, I
they
know.
need to be thrown into hell as well.
I agree
Because
a
I am
thousand.
sorry, but you
Mm-hmm.
know what? No. I see that's the thing. Okay, here I go again. The Duggars. Okay, we all know the
Oh,
Duggars. And then there was another one, the other lady that is on trial for
oh, the
the
one that
child
was
abuse.
found guilty, bitch.
Yes,
Yesterday, it
exactly.
was a good day.
It sure was.
Oh,
Okay, see, those two, what do they have in common? They have a group of people, like a religious group, that they claim that they're, oh, I'm so holier than thou. They're the ones that give certain religious people a bad name.
They do.
When it's a tiny little majority of them that are like this, but they're the ones that make everybody think that like Christians are cuckoo,
Hmm.
right? And they're not. But it's these people that support these type of people because, oh, they can never do that, or they always have like an excuse. Well, they were doing this because of that, and no. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. And if God put that baby in your hands, and that's what God gave you, you need to take care of that.
Agreed.
You don't do
Agreed.
that to your child.
That's their role. Like you're supposed to make sure your child is loved, protected, and in this case, like I just no, I know I'm sick over it too. Like I've been sick. I was kind of like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, but I
Yeah.
feel like it's just it's important to share her what happened to her.
Yeah, no, for sure. It doesn't remind me because it's nowhere near anywhere near this. But remember the speculations of John Travolta and his wife when they had their son Jet and he had
Yes.
special needs. And nobody really knew, or he wasn't someone that they really, we knew he had that child,
Yeah.
but the way he passed away and how it all was handled was weird.
Hmm.
They were saying, a lot of people were saying that because he had special needs and because of their religion, it was like it was looked down upon. And it
Mm.
was like something, I don't know, it was just weird. And it's just like, to me, it's just like, no, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. Like if someone has special needs or is, autistic or on the spectrum or whatever, it's just like
Hmm.
it's not a curse. It's not something that you're punished with. Like that's, to me, it's a blessing.
I
Like
know.
regardless, like, you hear those stories of people that, oh, my baby, I had a baby and I was told they were only supposed to live like 48 hours, and 7 years later they're still here when everybody wanted me to turn my back and give up on them. You know?
Yeah.
It's a parent's love that keeps these children safe and, just thriving. And this is
Yeah.
the freaking example of what happens when we don't monitor people,
Hmm.
because I do think that parents with children with autism or special needs need to be monitored, not like in a
Agreed.
bad way, but there needs to be some,
Like a check-in or something.
yes,
And
there has
even
to
if
be
it's
something to protect
quarterly,
them.
even if it's
Yes,
quarterly and it's still not ideal, but at least someone's checking in.
absolutely. Because, there's a lot of people that get paid to take care of their children. It's
Mm.
just like child support. That money should be going in a fund specifically for the children. Shouldn't be for anybody else's, fun time. Unless you have a child that's like, incapacitated or in a wheelchair, or needs like a breathing tube, whatever it is, that's different. But if you have a functioning autistic child, those funds should be put away, because what happens when the parents pass away? Who's going to take care of them?
Yeah.
It's just like there's so many things. And we need to do better on so many levels. Like Crime Talk totally makes you think of all this crap because it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's that, yeah, ridiculous.
I don't know if it's my period, but I'm pissed. Sorry, and sorry everybody for knowing this, but you know
I
what? Pisses me off because it's uncalled for, and that poor girl did not deserve this.
no,
Sepsis. I mean, she freaking had like bed sores from sitting down
I
and not
know.
moving.
It's so sad. I know.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And she was probably a healthy girl,
Yeah.
you know?
This is just classic. Like if you see something or if you feel weird about something, just raise hell
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, neighbor.
Hmm.
Like you said, we don't know her. I don't talk to my neighbors. I don't know their names, nothing. But I'm telling you, if, Jack across the street or something creepy was going on, I'd be like, uh-oh, you know? You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'd be like, Tony, like, hello. Remember, I think I
You
told you.
sent him, you sent Tony to go verify, not you. Like, uh-oh, Tony, go figure it out.
Yes, I'm sorry. One time when we first moved here across the street, there was some weird people, but at like 2 in the morning, they had their cars out and they were sweeping the street with looking for something with a flashlight. And I'm like, oh my God, I think they committed a crime. Like, and I'm over there in the window, like looking and, but you have to be hyper aware.
You do.
It's not going to kill anybody, or is it?
Exactly. The thing is, if you see something, say something. That's it.
Yes, exactly. Like you said. And so, just to be clear, welfare checks are anonymous.
That's what I thought. You can request for them to be anonymous because you don't want to put yourself in danger. So I
Yeah,
imagine that
exactly.
you can call it in anonymously.
I would
Just like
hope.
whenever I call like the cops, like if something crazy is
Hmm.
going on, they're like, "Do you want to leave your name?"
Hmm.
No.
Yeah. See, when I've done that too, and I give them the wrong name, even
Yeah.
though I know it probably comes up on their damn
Yeah, like
screen, but
just yeah.
whatever. And I'm over there like, oh, it's Felicia.
Or it's Regina Phalange.
Yes, I was
Hi.
gonna say that too. Oh gosh, yeah, I don't know. But well, let's hope and pray. So when should we know about this? You said you're gonna give us an
The
update.
sentencing hearing is March 20th, I believe. So I'm just gonna be keeping my peepers and my ears on high alert. So if there's any news like then that week, like I'll share it right away. Like and because I think it's gonna be the right decision. These fuckers can't get away with it again. Like they just can't.
Yeah,
So I'm
no,
just gonna
for
be
real.
hopeful.
See,
But
this
yeah,
is the time where the death penalty like needs to happen at that moment.
agreed.
Like, a pair of scissors just stab him to death.
The thing is, it's like defendants have so many more rights than victims.
Which is crazy, especially when we know that people have blatantly done things.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay if there's reasonable doubt, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But when you have blood all over your
Yeah.
hands,
Like you're literally holding the
yeah,
weapon.
we could clear a lot of space in
We
prisons.
sure can.
If someone confesses, why are we keeping them there and paying
Exactly.
for their asses?
Yeah. Feeding them
Ugh.
and whatnot. No, I
Yeah,
know.
and I'm sorry, I'm not going to be one of those people protesting in front of the prison, being like, save their lives. No, you killed someone, bitch. Okay, I think we're done. We're done because I'm really upset.
When Neen starts cussing, you know that we need to wrap it up because she's got to maintain her angelic halo over her head.
Yes, my blood pressure is going up because this is
Oh
horrible.
my God. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, but thank you
It's
for
okay.
chatting with me. And I'm
Of
sorry I
course.
did that to
Hey,
your mind.
Daisy.
Yeah. So she knows what's up. She's like,
Okay.
yay,
Oh, she's so
let's wrap
cute.
it up.
Look at her little eyes. It's crazy how it just all blends
I
until
know
she
it.
opens her mouth and you see her pearly whites.
I know. She's so effing
Hi. Oh,
cute.
she is. She's so
Yeah,
cute.
she's like, Mommy, stop talking about disturbing things. Yes. So thank you
Yeah.
guys so much for listening. Thank you to Neen for just, chatting with me about this because I know it was hard, but thank you. I really appreciate that. And, we'll catch you next week with our Totally
Mhm.
90s series and Fridays
Woo-hoo.
with Neen. So we got a
Oh,
fun week
yeah.
coming up.
Yes.
But until then, catch you on the flip side,
Oh,
guys.
yeah. Peace out, buddies.
Was
Woo-hoo.
that underwear?
No. Uh-uh.